sitting here in the studio with Jim Keltner. We just took a break, and he's about to eat food, which is always a good thing at a session. Is that the face of a satisfied customer? Geez, I think so.
Yeah, you go hypoglycemic if you don't eat at the session.
Absolutely.
You know, but then your fingers get all greasy, and which is good if you're playing bass. Not so good if you're trying to hold the drumsticks.
So any thoughts on Jeffrey?
Jeffrey, I have many thoughts on Jeffrey. This is not my food. Didn't come apparently. Anyway, Jeff Porcaro to me was always just the most incredibly dynamic person that I had met at that time. I mean, I met him when he was like 16, and he was just so full of energy and chops. I mean, he had advanced himself to the point where he could play almost anything on the drums, and I saw it, I witnessed it, and I was flabbergasted. And I remember him telling me, he said, I said, can you do that again? He played something spectacular. He did it again exactly the same way. I said, man, where did you learn to do that? He said, well, my dad's a teacher, and he let me start playing as a kid. You know, I used to play when my legs would barely reach the pedal. And so I said, so you've been doing this a long time? And he said, yeah, but you know, the thing is that my dad and all of the older guys, the studio guys, are telling me that I should slow down and play simpler and all that. And I said, man, please tell them I won't repeat what I can't do that on the thing here for the fans. But I told him, listen, you're only 16 one time in your life, so go for it. Do it. Play as fast and as furious and as technical and crazy as you want to, because later on you'll figure that out, how not to do that. And I think he really appreciated that, and we became really great friends from that point on. The next time I paid attention was very short time later, like a couple years later or something, and it was Silk Degrees, and that was some of the most mature, incredible groove drumming that I've ever heard in my life, you know, and still today, holds up today. And so Jeff was off from there. He was off and running from that point on. And I mean, I could tell you all kinds of stuff about Jeff Porcaro as far as musicality goes, but I don't really have to. You know, all you have to do is just listen to the body of work that young man did with Toto and everybody, all the artists he worked with. But most of all, Jeffrey was an unusual person, man. He was the most amazing dude, you know, not just drummer. He did things that nobody did. Like if he showed up at a session and he didn't feel right about the song, like he wasn't cutting it, which was very rare, but if he felt like he wasn't doing it, he would tell the producer, I'm going to call somebody, and he would call one of his friends and tell them, hey, come on down here if you get a chance, you know, just come on down and I want you to play on this track that I'm not making.
I did a session with him, and he did the same thing, and he called you. And I remember you came down and played, and he just hung.
He used to do that, and I, you know, and there's nobody in the world that does that. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody else that's ever done that, and that's just the kind of guy he was, you know. I mean, and just to hang out with him, I can't even tell you what a thrill it was. No, Jeffrey was one of the most unusual people I've ever known in my life, and for him to be gone now is like that's a mystery to me that just will never. I'll only find that out in the end.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
You know,
absolutely.
And I know you do. I mean, all the bass players and guitar players, all the other musicians that ever worked with Jeffrey in the studio or live or wherever, played with him, period, all feel that loss. There's no replacing him.
Yeah.
The guy that came the closest to replacing him was Carlos, brother Carlos Vega, and then he goes. This is a mystery that I will never comprehend. I can't. I mean, I get chills when I talk about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. He was a brother.
With both of those guys, you played with those guys. Those guys were you guys were a formidable team, both of you.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them with you. And so I can't even imagine what it must be like for you.
It sucks, but I'm sure everybody will appreciate this, and I thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, I hate to just have gotten so serious on you.
No.
Because Jeffrey if Jeffrey were here right now, he would have made me laugh and be so funny. That's the other reason I loved him so much. He made me so funny when he was around.
Yeah.
I think that's what he did. That was another unusual talent.
Well, he was usually naked too. Which
Well,
was,
yeah, naked always would.
That worked for me.
It would always be much funnier.
Okay, man. Thanks.
Okay.